How's it going, everybody? Today we have a really interesting thing that we're going to do. So I'm building a simulated demo, and it requires a lot of manual steps that kind of represent what OpsBridge would do automatically using its own tools, but we are going to create all of the elements manually. So it gives a little bit of an insight into the inner workings. And coincidentally, we're going to learn how to use UCMDB for manual CI creations, adjustments, relationships, and everything. So it doesn't mean that you need to create everything on your own, but when you need to correct stuff, that's definitely the tool set or skill set that would come in handy. So what you have here is the relationship schema of a couple of applications that are related to nodes, and then the nodes have internal components into them, and basically when you create it all from scratch, you need to accommodate for all of this, and it's all done in the UCMDB. Now, luckily, OBM has a CLI that allows creating nodes from the command line. So I did that. That's completely fine. And if I'll go to IT Universe Manager, and by the way, the way to get to the local client, basically you go to OBM, administration, RTSM, and you download the local client and you run the CMD file. And it will open the local client for you, and you just get the information into it. Okay, so the scenario that we're going to do is based on a iOS application that instead of using a real one, which we have, we'll be using, we'll just simulate a parallel version of it, which would be used by people to demo the features without affecting each other. So the main thing with demos, if you have in a big environment where people can demo stuff, they can interfere with other demonstrations that are going on somewhere else in the world if they use the same resource. So some demo scenarios can be built in a way that doesn't uh, interfere with each other's sessions. So that's exactly what I'm building. So in terms of nodes, let's see what I created. So I'll isolate the nodes according to their names. And we see that all of the types that are computers are actually the ones that I created using this command line. And those are the real ones that are created by OpsBridge itself, the discovery and everything else. So we disregard discovery, and we are going to pretend that the discovery worked. Okay, so we have the machines, but we don't have anything else. And this is time for us to begin building our stuff over here. So first thing first, we need to search for AOS underscore 15. This is going to be our first guinea pigs of sorts, right? So I'll select AOS LB 15. There it is, and I'll click on operations, and I'll create new related CI. So when you create a new CI, just CI from scratch, there are a lot of CIs that you cannot really create. See, they are grayed out. It means that if you select it, it wouldn't give you any opportunity to create them. So then they can be created only when they are related to some based CIs, like application or node. Those would be the most popular ones. So we create a new related CI, and the new related CI would be web server. So let's do just that. Now, when you type web server and you do it without typos. By the way, this is going to be a long one, so you might want to pause this video, grab some coffee, and just deal with it, right? So I already prepared several copy pastes over here just to make it a little bit faster. Okay, so I'm trying to emulate something real. So server root, I'm going to specify it here. Server type is going to be LB. All right, and then we'll go and add another property over here because when you create a related CI, it goes all the way up to the tree, and some of the properties needs to be inherited from a parent. Okay, and this time the parent is running software. Okay, and the discovered product name should be load balancer. So we're gonna do just that. We'll find the discovered product name. Discovered product name. It's going to be load balance. Okay, so why are we filling in all those settings? I mean, I could just give it a name and be done with it, but the problem is, first of all, as you see, there is no direct name of the CI, so it's going to be based on something else. And another thing, when you have multiple CIs that look the same, they will reconciliate. They will be merged into a single CI because the system would think that they are the same. So in order to distinguish between them, some properties need to be changed. So I'm building a 15-minute scenario that would repeat every 15 minutes. So I'm going to call it just that. Okay, and now we'll choose a relationship, and it's going to be the relationship of the type composition. And you see there is like source CI, the target CI direction. You can reverse it when you need it to. But right now we are going to say that the source CI is AOSLB, the machine, and it's composed on of the web server. Okay, so I click on save, and CI created successfully. Now I can repeat the process several times to speed it up, but let's see the result in the middle aisle, and there we have it. We have ourselves a CI that we created, load balancer 15, which is fantastic. Okay. Okay, so now we'll do the same thing with Web 1, but we will, and Web 2 basically, we'll create a new related CI, but this time it's going to be Apache Tomcat. So we're going to do Apache Tomcat. Okay, Apache Tomcat service, and I don't think there is a way for me to scroll down to next result. At least I didn't find any, so I'll have to look for it someplace else. Okay, where is it? Okay, so that's managed object, Apache Tomcat infrastructure element. I think it's going to be under web server, actually. You know what? I'm going to try it. Let's go to web server, right? And we expand it. There is that Apache Tomcat. Fantastic. So the Apache Tomcat would include several configurations. So the document root for Apache Tomcat is a little bit different. It's going to be var www HTML, right? So this is just the standard thing, and the server root is going to be opt Tomcat. So if you go to the internet and try to install an Apache with all the defaults, you'll see that it's basically it. Okay, and discovered product name is going to be Apache Tomcat. Discovered product name is going to be Apache Tomcat 15. Now, here I did not need to specify 15, but I would like to keep it consistent because it wouldn't reconciliate when the relationships are not the same. So reconciliation, when it checks if the CI is the same or not, it should create a new CI or should merge the CIs. Basically, it verifies several things. One of them is the attributes over here, but also it checks what kind of relationships it has. So if similar CIs have different relationships with different other CIs, well, then it cannot be the same CI, so it wouldn't reconcile. Okay, so we click on save, we check our result, and we get a proper thing. Okay, so now we will go with AOS Web 2, and we'll do exactly the same thing. So it's going to be new related CI, the type web server. Okay, and here it's going to be Apache Tomcat. Document root is going to be var www HTML, which is actually not true for Tomcat, but well, I hoped nobody will notice. All right, it actually gave me a opportunity to fill it the same way. So Tomcat, see it already exists, so I can just repeat it. So the server type is going to be web server, and we continue to replicate. It's going to be a discovered product name. It's going to be Apache Tomcat 15. All right, relationship. It's going to be composition. So those were the easy ones. Let's see what we got so far. Here we have it. So we have If we'll check, if we'll select both of those CIs and we'll select them here and show related CIs, it would show two very similar pictures. So now we need to connect the applications to each other logically. And the logic is if you have the load balancer, it would, of course, connect to the Tomcats. So in this case, we need to go and select the load balancer. So we'll go to LSLB, we'll show its related CI, and we will say relate to CI. And now we need to filter out all of the CIs by just checking the managed object. So it would search in the all directory and not discriminate based on CI type. And we're going to say Apache. We're going to find all of the Apaches that it has. All right, let's see what it finds. Okay, so there is a lot of Apache, right? But we need the Apache Tomcat, and we don't know which one of them is the one that we need, but we need both, right? So normally we would try to figure out which one of them is the relevant one, but we can actually do it for two of them simultaneously. So we will look for it, and we will have a consumer provider link. It's pretty logical, so we can give it a try. We say save, and relationship created successfully. So let's see how it looks like. We show the related CIs, and those are our two Apaches. If I'll select the Apaches and I'll show the related CIs, then I'll have the web servers as well, and of course I can expand it even further. Okay, so now we need to take care of our database because there is also a third tier and it's a database. So it's going to be AOS DB 15. All right, and we will go and create operations, new related CI, and we'll try to Postgres SQL. It's DB service, so we need to go a little bit further, and maybe we'll just search for database. Maybe might be a little bit easier. Yep. So we go to the further, and it's going to be Postgres SQL. Okay, so build number, yeah, let's use a real version. Let's say it's 10.11. And discovered product name is going to be PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL, just like that. Okay, relationship is going to be composition, because the server is composed of that. Okay, fantastic. So that's one. Now we will take care about the DB backup because there is also a backup. So we'll do just exactly the same. We'll go to the new CI. No, we'll go to new related CI. You see, almost done mistake there. But we're not making mistakes. We're having, how Bob Ross call it, happy accidents database. All right. What? Maybe we'll try it again. Database. No. So maybe we need to search for Postgres SQL, and then we'll do the database. I really need to find a way for it to move to next result. Okay, so that's going to be the next one. And the build number, of course, database are matching. So maybe 10.11, and the discovered product name is going to be PostgreSQL, something like that. I had the typo. Yeah, PostgreSQL. Okay, relationship, composition. Okay, fantastic. We will save it. Great. So what would be our next result? Show related CI. Okay, so we will select our probably the backup or LB itself. You know what? We'll select both of the DBs like that by holding control. We'll show the related CIs. It's going to be a little bit easier. So we have the DB itself and the DB backup. So we'll relate the PostgreSQL to the Apache Tomcats. Okay, so we will, let's see, what do we do related to CI, and we will, actually, you know what? Let's do something else. We will relate those two. So this is selection number one, and this is section number two with control. And you see the colors here? This is exactly right, like Portal, the game. Same colors. Okay, so I'll click the first one and I'll say relate to CIs. Okay, and it already has the CI that I selected. So the relationship is going to be consumer provider between those two. So let's see, consumer provider, but I want to reverse it. Okay, so now we will have consumer provider between those two. Although, yeah, so that looks good. Let's see how it looks like over here when we just show related CIs. It should refresh the link. And now we have the Postgres SQL is the consumer provider for AOS DB1. Let's see if that's exactly what we wanted. And yeah, it's more or less that we want what we wanted. Now we need to create a new CI. Okay, and now we need the application. So we'll create a new CI, and the new CI is going to be business application. Okay, no, it's the one word, application. Okay, no spaces, no spaces are allowed. No, I still have a space. There we go, business application. And the business application is going to be AOS shop main 15. Okay, I wanted to include the number 15 because that's what we're going to use it for. Okay, and we click save. All right, fantastic. So this is how you create an application. We'll go to the filter over here and we'll try to list where are the business elements, business element, the business applications as well, the ones that say AOS. So we'll search for it once more. And there is our AOS shop main. Okay, so we need to create another one actually. So we'll create a new CI. Business application. And there it is. And we're going to say AOS security. Security. And we're going to say 15. Okay. So now we have ourselves two applications. There we have it. Okay. So in terms of our relationships, those two applications sit on a different hierarchy, right? So the AOS shop main connects, of course, to the AOS LB. Okay, so we need to relate the application to the load balancer itself. So it's going to be AOS LB 15. All right, and relationship would be contained because it just contains it, right? So we hit save, and now we'll select another CI and business application. So let's look for AOS for load balancer actually. So let's select everything, and we're gonna say load balancer. No, just load balancer. Load balancer. That should be good enough. Searching for CIs. It takes us a little bit of time. Okay, and it's going to be AOS load balancer 15, the one that we created previously. Okay, and actually this one needs to be removed. And then the load balancer would be just usage. Save. All right, let's see the result. Show related CIs. And there we have it. It's related to AOSLB and to the application hosted on AOSLB. Okay, so let's do the same for iOS security. Now, iOS security sits one level below. So when we relate it to CI, it's related to Apache servers, right? So it's going to be Apache. So let's look for it and see the result over here. And it's Apache Tomcat. So we will just relate it to them both. Just push it. And the relationship will be containment. Basically, everything is going to be contained. Okay, so you know what? We'll go to CI selection and we will add the servers as well. Because you know what? We'll have containment both for servers and for the services running or applications running on those machines. So it's going to be AOS Web 1 and it's going to be AOS Web 2. Okay, everything is 15. So now we'll just select containment and we'll say save. And it creates all 4 links simultaneously. That was fast. Okay. All right. So now let's see how the 2 applications look together. Over here, we'll show the relationship. And then we can select everything once more. We cannot do it with Control A, unfortunately. So we need to drag and select. We'll show the related CIs. And at some point, this should start merging. Okay, so let's compare it to the image from before. Oh, it's pretty much identical. Pretty much identical. Even, no, it's exactly identical. Okay, so I think we can go further and see that we still don't have the relationships to the databases, I think. Right? Do we have relationship to databases? Let's drag this down. It just takes a lot of space and see what's going on. And no, we need to relate the Tomcat servers to the database. Okay, so those are the 2 Tomcat servers. We'll select them. We'll say relate to CI. Hopefully those 2 will be, no, it just tries to relate them to each other. So we'll have to select them one by one. And we will relate, okay, PostgreSQL. So let's say PostgreSQL because that's going to be logical. And we need to know that it's actually not the backup, right? So now we have this PostgreSQL, but we have 2 of them. Those are the ones that we created, but I cannot right click and verify which one of them is the relevant one. So instead, we'll just select the DB and we'll select the Web 1 and we'll select the Web 2 and we'll show the related CIs. Okay, so now I can select the Apache Tomcat, one of them, and the DB that I want to relate it to. So it's going to be relate to CI. That's the one. And we will select dependencies because it depends on it. All right, we click save and we repeat the step for the second one because it has exactly the same relationship with this database, right? So we will go and select dependency and we say save. Okay, so let's see how it looks like. You know what? I just want to select those 2 and I want to see the related CI. And there we have it. So now we have dependencies, okay? And the PostgreSQL itself is both Tomcats are dependent on the PostgreSQL. So let's see the big picture now, the real big picture. So that might be a little bit mind-boggling because right now it shows all the relationships. So we need to differentiate. This is just how the CIs work inside the database, right, inside the UCMDB. But when we apply it to a view, when we use a view to do it, then it's a little bit more comprehensive. So there we have it. We have all the machines, we have all of the web servers related to each one to another. And now because I built it, I see the logic in it. But to an outside observer, of course, it looks like a big, big mess. Okay, so the idea is now to create a view. And this we will do in the next video. So I hope you liked it. I hope you kind of learn how to create CIs and how to fill the gaps, if your infrastructure, what is called, discovery missed a bit and you want to just edit or re-edit if it was deleted by mistake. So this is the methodology that you can use for it. And yeah, so please subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.